Okay, moving on, I request Mr. Ishan Tulsian to kindly take over the floor and move ahead with the GST amendments.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening everyone. Respected Anima ma'am and respected Kalpatru sir as well as Kaushik sir. Thank you for the opportunity to deliberate on the recent changes impacting importers and exporters under GST. Now, thank you for the generous introduction of mine as well. We really appreciate that. So we have an hour, 15 minutes around to deliberate, and then we can take question answers. Usually I cover all these changes applicable in 2.5 hours. We'll try to squeeze in and we'll try to go a little fast. In case if you have any questions in between related to those particular topics, those slides, that you can ask us. You can ask me at that point in time, or you can reserve it for later as well, since there are number of clarifications, number of amendments, and favorable also, unfavorable also. So I will mention which ones are more relevant, which ones are very important, where you can note down and you can ask me questions on that as well. So this is the agenda for today. We are going to first talk about the amendments and clarifications in GST compliances. Then we are going to discuss about the changes in GSTR-3B format. Then we are going to discuss about clarifications and amendments in refund provisions. Then we are going to discuss about amendments in warehousing, logistics and transporter sector. Then pre-packaged labeled food items where applicable for exporters. Hotel accommodation and residential dwelling, there are a few changes in there as well, and latest case laws of Supreme Court and High Court which are applicable mainly for importers and exporters, and then of course we'll have the question answer openers. Okay, sorry. We'll start off. There was a clarification provided by the CBIC wherein they mentioned that the perquisites which an employer provides an employee, perquisites means non-monetary advantages provided by the employer to the employee, whether GST is attracted on the same or not. I would like to bring your attention to Schedule 3 of CGST Act, wherein there are certain items such as purchase of land or purchase of building, wherein completion certificate has already been provided, salary, remuneration to employees, all of those GST are not applicable on that because it is not a sale of service or a sale of goods. Similarly, perquisites, in the same analogy, we do not consider that as something which GST can be attracted on, provided that these perquisites are mentioned in the contractual terms in the agreement between the employer and the employee, and these perquisites are provided in the course of employment to the employee. This was the first clarification. The second clarification, this is important in the sense that there was a clarification required that a particular proviso in the block credit section. Block credit is whenever we talk about block credit negative list, our year standard. Because this is something which we cannot claim, which is ineligible, we have to reverse if we have claimed. So there is a clarification of a particular proviso in section 17 subsection 5 clause B. Clause B, the entire clause mentions about block credit items such as outdoor catering, food and beverages, health services, insurance, medical insurance, life insurance. You have cosmetics, renting, hiring of motor vehicles, aircraft, vessels, all of that, majorly. Now the clarification was that whether the advantage of availing input tax credit, on all of these block credit items is provided on all of these items or only on one item, when it is obligated by the employer to provide those services, certain services to the employee. For example, under Factories Act 1948, there is section 46, which mentions that there needs to be a mandatory canteen facility in a factory of workers more than 250. So it is a particular obligation, legal obligation put on an employer to provide to an employer. So what is he giving? Food and beverage. And sir, it is what? It is ineligible, block credit under section 75 clause B, right? So whether the employer can avail these kind of services, the inputs on these kind of services, yes, he can avail. It is not just limited to one item of clause B, which is travel benefit on vacation for the employee. It is on the entire clause, which includes foods and beverage. Now, for example, another example, Karnataka Shops and Establishment Act, like the way we have trade license for Calcutta KMC. It mentions for female workers after the time of 8:30 p.m. the employer has to provide free pickup and drop facility with adequate security. Now this is hiring, renting of motor vehicle.
This is blocked under section 17 subsection 5, as we all know. But the employer, whether he can claim credit on that, because it is obligated under some law which is active, he can. So this is a clarification which we need to understand. EDLI, Employee Deposit Insurance Linked Scheme, where the employer has to pay contribution. It is mandated under law. There are certain laws where life insurance, group insurance, health insurance, that is mandated for the employer to take on behalf of the employee. So he can take input tax credit or not? Yes, he can in this particular situation where it is mandated under law. Now next clarification is whether in the same section, law credit section 17 subsection 5, clause B, clarification is whether renting, hiring, leasing of motor vehicle, aircraft and vessel, whether it is blocked only to the limit of hiring, renting of motor vehicle, or whether renting, hiring of anything, immovable property, everything is blocked. So it is clarified, no sir, hiring, renting, leasing of only motor vehicle, aircraft and vessels, that is only blocked, not of everything. If tomorrow I take some flat, tomorrow if I take something immovable other property, if I hire that, lease that, it is not blocked here. We move on. Now whenever we generate PMT 06 challan, obviously we all know PMT 06 challan, right? That is payment of tax when we file GSTR-3B. As per rule 87, what all modes of payments are mentioned, sir? First is RTGS, NEFT, credit card, debit card, over-the-counter bank payment, 10,000 rupees per challan maximum. Now, due to the digitization, what is included? UPI payment, Unified Payment Interface. And second, IMPS. Sir, I want to make payment 5 minutes. GST portal will not work on the final day. Deadline is coming. I want to make by IMPS. I will not wait for NEFT, by the end of the day it will settle. No. So IMPS has been activated and UPI has been activated for payment using PMT 06 challan. Next change about e-invoice. Sir, very important. All of us, we should understand this. As I've told you, there are certain points in the presentation I have mentioned. They are a little more important. You can just note that particular heading. I will give you the reference. It's already mentioned. You can go through the circular. You can ask further in depth from me also. E-invoicing provisions right now from 1st of April 2022. Any annual aggregate turnover means, annual aggregate turnover means what? Exempt supply plus taxable supply plus export supply. All of that together exceeds 20 crore rupees. In which year? 2017, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21, 21, 22, any of the years. Then e-invoicing provision from the 1st of April for more than 20 crores, if I have in any of these financial year turnover, then I am going to follow the e-invoicing provision as per rule 48 sub rule 4, which means I have to make a user ID password on the e-invoice portal. I have to generate an IRN with a QR code. I am not just going to take it out of Tally or Busy or Oracle and I will just give it. No, that will not be considered as an invoice, and your purchaser, your buyer will not be able to claim credit on that. It will be disputed. So now you would be knowing that from the 1st of October 2022, this 20 crores has been reduced to exactly, sir, 10 crores. Just imagine, sir, 10 crores, it covers almost 60 to 70% of the businesses. For any of the financial year, even before COVID, there are many businesses where the turnover has gone down. But they are not leaving it, they are not seeing, sir, immediately preceding financial year AATO, no. 17, 18 also, 18, 19 also. So we are going to follow e-invoicing provision. Now, what is the clarification? There are certain notified taxpayers such as banking institutes, NBFCs, insurers, GTAs, Group Transport Agency, OITAR, passenger transportation services. Those people, they might be having thousands of crores of turnover, but they are exempted to follow this e-invoicing provision because of sake of convenience. So, as an exporter, I have to see the invoice with the declaration which I have mentioned here. I hereby declare that even though our threshold turnover is much more, but we are not going to follow e-invoicing provision, and this is our declaration. We are going to see that. Because if we don't see that, and if we take the invoice, and if we do not check that that particular person from whom we are purchasing, that supplier, he has to issue an e-invoice, B2B invoice. And we see that he is not issued, and we don't observe that, we claim it. Later on, during GST audit and all, they can catch you. We'll be like, sir, why did you see this is not a valid invoice? So your input will be challenged later on. Now another very important clarification, sir, electronic credit ledger usage. Now many state governments, GST department, they have been hell-bent to recover taxes from the taxpayers by mode of debiting electronic cash ledger only. For example, DRC01 show cause notice, DRC01A pre-show cause notice, DRC07 summary assessment order, ADT2 audit report order, DRC ASMT 10 scrutiny notices which are coming right now, ASMT 12 scrutiny order notice, demand order, all of that mention a particular amount of tax, interest, penalty, right? Now there are certain state government, GST department machinery, they were forcing the taxpayers to pay the tax demand only by using electronic credit ledger, means transfer from your bank and make the payment. Whereas I have crores and lakhs and thousands of balance in my electronic credit ledger. I'm just talking about output tax, sir. I'm not talking about interest and all that, sir. Just output tax. Because if output tax is not there, how will interest come? Now it has been clarified that no, sir. If you have you have to make payment in GSTR-3B by self-assessment. You have to make payment by any proceedings instituted under GST, any of that, and you can make payment using your electronic credit ledger balance. This is a very important clarification. Only in terms of RCM, which is not considered as an output tax. RCM is not considered as an output tax. Considering we have utilized in the proper order of utilization input tax credit under section 49(4) and section 49(b), which is IGST first, we utilize against IGST output, then CGST, SGST in any order, then if IGST output is fulfilled, then we use CGST input to set up against CGST output first, then IGST, all of that, right? This is a very important thing. Again, it has been clarified that electronic credit ledger balance cannot be used to set off interest, penalty, late fees, RCM, anything apart from tax. This is a very, very important thing. So if any state tax officer, central excise officer, GST officer, they force you that said no, पैसा आपको cash में payment करना पड़ेगा, अभी transfer करिए, अभी payment करिए. No. Why? This particular clarification is provided as per circular number 172/04. You can note this. Now changes in 99C. This is again a procedural compliance, but it is still important for us to know because the last date is 31st of December 2022. All the exemptions, which we would say the optionality to fill the tables until 2020-21. For example, in GST and 9C, table 14 was optional. Table 12B, table 12CD, they were optional. Filling up HSN in table 17-18, all was optional. Now, apart from these 2-3 changes, everything else convenience has been carried forward to 21-22 also. Okay, now only these two changes are there. First is, sir, non-GST supply. If you remember GST and 9 format, sir, come after table 4, come to table 5. Table 5 is all output tax supply where GST is not paid, which means exempt, nil rated, export without payment of GST, non-GST supply, and amendment and credit note, debit note related to that. In that, if you would remember, sir, table 5D, exempt supply, table 5D, 5E, nil rated, and 5DEF, F is non-GST supply. So the change is that, sir, you have to take out separately the non-GST supply. What is non-GST supply, sir? I don't know. Non-GST supply, there are two things. First is any alcohol for human consumption. Second is high-speed petrol, diesel, turbine, aviation turbine oil, natural gas. All of that. For example, sir, I purchase any of this, I am not paid GST, I have to separately disclose in table 5F. And I can put the exempt supply as well as nil rated supply together in table 5D in the exempt supply. So this is the first change. Second change, sir, it is a little cumbersome. We were enjoying the facility of not filling the HSN tables, table 17 and 18. Now, at least one relief is provided, that table 18, which is providing HSN code for all the purchase or inward supplies. That is still optional. So that is a big relief for us. But table 17, if you would remember table 17 of GST and 9, sir, that is providing 6-digit HSN for large taxpayers who have annual aggregate turnover of 5 crores in the preceding financial year 2021. They have to issue in their invoice 6-digit HSN code from 1st of April 2021 as per notification 78/2020. So, sir, this has already been applied from 2021-22. So, why will not they ask to put in GST and 99C? Notification 78/2020 तो सर already बोलता है invoice में आपको large taxpayers for 2020-21 who have turnover of more than 5 crores, they have to already put HSN code 6-digit for all B2C, B2B, everything. And for small taxpayers lower than 5 crores, They have to put what, sir? 4-digit HSN for only B2B invoices. So same things they have put in table 17 in GST and 9. Sir, जितने भी आपने सेल किया है, सबका आपको अगर आप बड़े टैक्स पेयर है, B2B, B2C, export कुछ भी हो, आपको you have to put in all the HSN code 6-digit in table 17. Or if you are a small taxpayer below 5 crores, then you have to put in only 4-digit only for B2B. All the other exemptions, as I said, or optional, whatever tables to fill, that is carried forward. Obviously, needless to say that exemption to file GST and 9A is up to 2 crores for that financial year and 9C is for 5 crores. Okay, this is, sir, again very, very important. I think this is the most important slide of the entire presentation. So I would just, seek an extra attention for this. There are multiple things and I will explain by example so that it comes to your head and not just theory. Section 50, subsection 1 talks about interest on short payment. Section 50, subsection 3 talks about interest on input tax wrongly claimed and utilized. Now we are going to talk about the first thing. What is the first thing? Now there is a new rule 88B which has come this particular by this notification 14/2022 dated 5th of July. Now this notification is a master notification, sir. If you open it up, there are more than 20 amendments there. But it's needless to because I'll cover all of this. So let's come to this example, sir. Very easy. Try to understand this, sir. First example. In the month of June, we have tax liability of 2 lakh rupees. Means output tax supply, output tax liability 18% is 2 lakh rupees. The entire 2 lakh rupees has been declared in GSTR-3B for June. We have not declared any short payment, nothing. Full 2 lakh rupees in the books, full 2 lakh rupees in June 3B. However, unfortunately, we filed the GSTR-3B 8 days late. As per section 50 subsection 1, what does it say? Now, also the information 40,000 rupees is paid by cash and 1,60,000 is paid by debiting the electronic credit ledger. As per section 50 subsection 1, the benefit of calculation of interest on only the cash portion is provided. Only in case where entire tax liability has been declared in that particular period in 3B and the only cause for payment of interest is delay in filing GSTR-3B. Sir, I will repeat this point that here if you would see interest at the rate of 18% will the benefit of interest of 18% on only 40,000 will be there, not on entire 2 lakh rupees, sir. Earlier, this is a retrospective amendment right from 1st of July 2017. All these audit notices, scrutiny notices, all of this will come. You are going to, sir, please verify that the interest in case of delay in filing of GSTR-3B, that 18% for 8 days is only on the cash portion, not on the gross portion. Now, second example, sir. This will clarify it further. Second example, same 2 lakh rupees is the tax liability for the month of June, but I have declared only 1,80,000 in GSTR-3B for June. 20,000, sir, I could not buy. Bill was not there. I missed it. Tally mein malfunction ho gaya. So that and GSTR-3B has been filed late by 8 days. So, sir, what will happen? And cash payment has been done out of 1,80,000 of tax which I have declared in June 2022 GSTR-3B. 30,000 is paid by cash and 1,50,000 is paid by ITC. So, here again the benefit of section 50 subsection 1 will come. 18% interest will only be for 8 days on what? 1,80,000 or only 30,000? 30,000 only, na?
30,000.
Because the delay due to which interest is arising is only because of delay in filing of GSTR-3B. Now, sir, let's come to the next point. Sir, 20,000 रुपया देना तो है कभी बाद में जब ऑडिट हुआ कि जब एनुअल रिकॉन्सिलिएशन कर रहे थे पता चलता सर 20,000 रुपया तो जून का बच गया पेमेंट ही नहीं हुआ. You've not paid this 20,000 pertaining to June. Now, sir, will you be able to claim the benefit of 18% on the cash portion payment in the month of November? अब मानिए नवंबर 3B में अपने डाल रही है. We have 20 lakh rupees input tax rate balance. And this 20,000 rupees, mere 20,000 rupees is just, there is no other sale for November. Just 20,000 rupees I put for June. Now, sir, you say, I will set it off 20,000 rupees. I will not pay by cash agenda. I will pay off by whatever I set it off by opening balance of electronic trade ledger. But, sir, interest will be calculated on full 20,000 rupees. You cannot claim to the defend, you cannot take the ground of defense to the government that, sir, I had sufficient input tax credit. This is very important difference, sir. Many notices which will come on this. For reconciliation, whenever they will talk about short payment, or delay in filing of GSTR-3B, interest liability will be calculated differently. Third point, extremely important, sir, is this ITC wrongly availed and claimed. In every notice you will receive from State Department, which we are receiving thousands in number for our clients, or from the Central Department, we are going to find something in common is this point. And here we are going to compute our own interest and we are going to challenge to the government. Now this particular point, for example, here, let's come to this slide. See, this is again a benefit for us. What is the benefit? That, for example, मेरे accountant 1 लाख रुपया उनको इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट लेजर में क्लेम करना था, वो 1 लाख से 11 लाख कर दिए कुछ. Clerical mistake can happen. I put 11 lakh rupees instead of 1 lakh rupees, even though I have a bill of only 1 lakh rupees. 10 lakh rupees, I came to know what? 5 months later. Fortunately, my electronic credit ledger balance never went below 11 lakh rupees. 11 lakh rupees I claimed, which was wrong. I would say 10 lakh rupees was wrong because 1 lakh to we already had to claim. Electronic credit ledger, God bless it, it did not, the balance did not go below 10 lakh rupees for the next 6 months until we figured it out. Sir, whether we need to pay interest or not? Whether we need to pay interest or not? No, sir, we don't have to pay interest. This is clarification. You will save thousands and lakhs of money with this particular clarification. Reason is that section 50, subsection 3 categorically mentions that if the input tax credit wrongly claimed, wrongly availed, only if it is utilized against payment of output tax liability, then only you have to pay interest on that portion which is utilized. Now, for example, another example, sir, 10 लाख रुपया मुझसे गलत से क्लेम किया है ना, अपने नवंबर महीना में जाकर के we file GSTR-3B or we apply for a refund or we pay tax by DRC-03, whichever way, my electronic credit ledger balance, it comes to 6 lakh rupees. 4 lakh रुपया हम गवर्नमेंट का खा गए. गवर्नमेंट का खाए है ना, अरे हम कुछ भी गलती बोल करके 1 करोड़ रुपया ले ले, उसके बाद में यूज करते गए, तो गवर्नमेंट का पैसा है. So you have to pay interest of 18% for 5 months for the shortfall amount of the electronic credit ledger minus the input tax credit wrongly claimed. Now the utilized amount is 4 lakh rupees, sir. 10 lakh रुपया गलती से किए तो 6 lakh का बैलेंस आ गया, 4 lakh rupees. Now the date of utilization is the date of filing of GSTR-3B or the due date. If I file GSTR-3B on 10th, but due date is 20th, I'll say no. I claimed 10 days earlier, but it does not matter. Due date is the 20th. Will it happen? Obviously, it will be earlier, na? Or if I have the electronic credit ledger balance reduced by any other method, which is filing DRC-03. If I make payment by DRC-03, I apply for refund. The day I apply for refund, it is RFD-01 balance is debited in the electronic credit ledger. तो उस दिन आपका debit हो गया. So you have availed, if the shortfall comes, you have availed the shortfall amount as wrongfully credit claimed and utilized, and you have to pay interest on the only the utilized portion. Kindly, sir, please remember this is a very, very extremely important point which will help all us accountants, chartered accountants, cost accountants in the next. It might already be helping us. This might help us in the next 6 months, 8 months. Now, changes in GSTR-3B are again extremely important for exporter, importer, normal domestic, any person. Now, we all have filed GSTR-3B, right? But there are massive changes in GSTR-3B format and in the way we are going to report, and it is already notified. It is already notified. When? 5th of July. This means June GSTR-3B, which due date falls on 20th of July, it is already applicable. We have to follow the new method. However, GST portal, there is always a lag between what comes in GST portal and what is recommended by law. So in the GST portal, the new format has not been introduced yet. So still we are carrying forward the old format. However, it is important for us to know. Now I would like to bring your attention to this particular example. Let us understand practically by example, then we will go to theory. Now there are 4 invoices, sir. Ma'am, first invoice eligible 50,000 rupees, Mr. A. It appears in GSTR-2B also, it appears in books also. Is there any problem? No problem. Second invoice, sir, XYZ Limited, 20,000 rupees, goods in transit. Sir, what is goods in transit? It is there in my GSTR-2B, but I cannot claim it in my books because one of the conditions to claim input tax credit is when the goods actually comes into the principal place or additional place of business, as per section 16, subsection 2, clause B. So, it is available in 2B, but we have not put it in our books yet. Third, Sir, clear cut ineligible creditor, block credit, construction limited. Section 17 subsection 5, construction services, civil construction on own account. We are not going to claim that particular input tax credit. And fourth is PQR limited, sir. Supplier, he is so lazy, he has not even uploaded this invoice in his GSTR1 by the 11th of the next month. It is not appearing in our GSTR2. And sir, I would like to remind all of you, from the 1st of January 2022, it is mandatory to only claim input tax credit which is showing in GSTR2B. वो 5%, 10%, 20% provisional input tax credit is all gone. I hope you are on the same page regarding this. Now sir, see in the example. I hope it is visible on the screen. My only concern is whether it is visible. No sir, for me it is fine. For the participants. Is this better, sir? Sir, just a moment. Is it better, sir? Can we read the figures and all that, sir? Extremely important example, sir. That's why I'm zooming in, taking a little time. Now, sir, see on the left-hand side, sir, you will see before amendment tax amount. How would we disclose it in GSTR-3B even till today? Because on GST portal the new facility is not being provided. How will we disclose, sir? We are only going to see what is the eligible input tax credit, eligible, not block credit, eligible input tax credit available in GSTR-2B. Sir, out of the 4 invoices, which one is eligible and available in GSTR-2B? It is the first one, Mr. A, 50,000 rupees. What would we do? Table 4A of GSTR-3B, I would like to recall. Table 4A, 4A5, all other ITC, we are going to put only 50,000 rupees. And we are going to make a disclosure of ineligible credit, block credit where? Sir, where? Table 41, na? It is just for disclosure purpose. It does not add or subtract any of the input amount. Table 4A, 4B, 4A is claiming, 4B is reversal, 4C is net, 4D is disclosure. Disclosure means extra information government को देना है. वो नहीं देंगे तभी भी चलेगा, लेकिन देना है अपने. Now this was the old method, means the current method. Sir, the new method, extremely important. All the invoices appearing in GSTR-2B, sir, all the invoices appearing in GSTR-2B, whether eligible, whether ineligible, whether prior period, whether current period, whether POS, means place of supply is outside, whether it is barred by section 16 subsection 4, means my supplier has uploaded the invoice on the 13th of October 2022 for 21-22, wherein the last date was 11th of October. GSTR1 last for September, we know it is the 11th of October. All of that we have to claim, sir. They're extremely important. All of that we have to claim where? In table 4A5. We have to claim all of that, sir. You will be shocked to know. You will be saying, "Kya bol rahe? Ineligible credit हम लोग 4A5 में claim कर ले." How ridiculous it is, sir. How are you saying that? But we are going to have 2 columns for rows for reversal. One is table 4B1. Permanent reversal, and table 4B2 temporary reversal. Sir, what is table 4B1 permanent reversal? अरे sir, permanent reversal का मतलब ये हुआ ना, we cannot reclaim it. Permanent reversal means what? Block credit. If you have any exempt turnover divided by total turnover into net ITC eligible. Exactly. So that no credit note, sir. It was earlier to be disclosed. Yes, you are absolutely right. Credit note also, in case if it were not to be amended. But how would we know it is amended? We are going to put it here. But sir, again answering your question, this is an exhaustive list. If you would see this particular slide, sir. Just a moment. There, this one, sir. Please, I would like to bring your kind attention, sir. It's a very good point, sir, has raised. Whether credit note will be, credit note is reversal of input tax rate, means our debit note, na? So whether it will come in table 4B1 or 4B2. 4B1 is permanent, credit note is permanent. But sir, if you would see table 4B1, it is an exhaustive list which is mentioned in the table. What is the exhaustive list? Reversal due to rule 38, reversal due to rule 42, reversal due to rule 43 and block credit. What is reversal due to rule 38 for banking companies who are providing exempt supplies such as all this interest loan and all these things. And 42, 43 everyone knows, exempt turnover divided by total turnover into the proportionate exempt turnover ITC we have to reverse 42, 43 for input and capital goods. And sir, everyone knows 17.5 which is block credit. It is an exhaustive permanent list of 4. So sir is saying credit note, sir, whether it will come, because you are saying permanent, credit note is permanent reversal. Sir, until further clarification, we are going to put it in table 4B2. Okay. Now, sir, what is table 4B2? Temporary reversal. Sir, I don't understand temporary reversal. I would like to bring your attention to this slide, last portion, table 4B2. What is temporary reversal? Temporary reversal means goods in transit. माल अभी तक आया नहीं है फैक्ट्री में, बुक्स में हम ले नहीं सकते हैं, बट माल आएगा 2-3 तारीख को, बुक्स में एंट्री मारेंगे उस टाइम, बट 2B में आ गया है, 2B में आ गया है तो टेबल 4 या 5 में डालना ही होगा बिकॉज इट्स अ न्यू रूल. तो कहीं से तो माइनस करना होगा कि ऐसे खा करके बैठ जाएंगे. ऑब्वियसली नॉट, राइट? वी हैव टू रिड्यूस इट, बट वेदर वी विल रिड्यूस इट अगेंस्ट परमानेंट और टेम्पररी. व्हाई परमानेंट? अरे टेम्पररी ना, नेक्स्ट ईयर तो वी आर गोइंग टू क्लेम व्हेन वी आर गोइंग टू एंटर इट इन बुक्स. सेकंड टेम्पररी एग्जांपल, 180 days we have not made payment 6 months. Rule 37 means if I have not made payment to my creditor, even COVID आए, बुखार हो, tuberculosis हो, GST department को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Even if you have a contract saying that I am going to have deferred payment over 2 years, that can be a ground of defense, but still it is clearly mentioned in Rule 37, if you do not make payment of GST as well as purchase amount in 180 days to your creditor, whoever the creditor is, you are going to reverse the input tax rate earlier claimed. Now with along with interest कब? 6 months के बाद नहीं, interest from the very first day of claiming. तो 6 महीना का इंटरेस्ट तो गया ही, उसके बाद में पूरा और 6 महीना का इंटरेस्ट गया. So ये गया कि वापस क्लेम कर सकते हैं. When we are going to make the payment 1 year later, 1.5 years later, we can claim the इनपुट टैक्स रेट. अब सर आप बोलेंगे कि लास्ट इनपुट टैक्स रेट तो क्लेम होता है सितंबर का GSTR-3B में, 20th of October if we file GSTR-3B or 2022 for 2021. No sir, this is not barred by section 16 subsection 4. If we have reverse input tax credit under Rule 37 for 180 day non-payment, we can claim it even 10 years later sir, if we make the payment 10 years later. That is a temporary reversal because there is a scope of again reclaiming it. Where are we going to put sir? Table 4B1 or 4B2? 4B1 sir is for permanent. 4B2 is temporary. We are going to put it in 4B2. This is the second example of temporary. Third is sir, supplier is not filed GST return. We don't know. How would we know? But still theoretically they say that you cannot claim input tax credit as per section 16 subsection 2 clause B. If we know that our supplier is absconding, भाग गया है, गुजर गया है, तो we are not going to be on the safe side, we are not going to claim it. We are going to put it under temporary. कल वो अपना GSTR-3B फाइल कर दे 2 महीना बाद में, 3 महीना बाद में, तो I can claim it. Okay? Now we have understood this particular thing. Now coming back to the example, we would see after the amendment, we are going to put all the invoices which appear in July in GSTR-2B, 50,000 plus 20,000 plus 25,000. Ineligible, eligible does not matter. 95,000 we put in table 4A5, right? Now permanent reversal is block credit, 25,000 minus, and 4B2 temporary reversal, goods in transit, which is there in 2B, which we have taken in table 4A5, but we have not put it in books in July. How can we claim it in July? So we are going to reduce that. So net amount is coming 50,000 only, but more disclosure. Government wants more disclosure. Government wants to know कि आपका 2B में कब आया है, कब रिवर्स की है, नेक्स्ट महीना में आया है, क्या हुआ है. He wants to know the pattern for data infometrics. So you are going to disclose this particular thing. Now this is for the month of July. Come to the month of August. Same example, sir. Come to the month of August. Now if you would recall, there were 2 invoices pertaining to July which we are to claim in August. First one is goods in transit. अरे books में entry नहीं मारी है, July में आया नहीं है, तो we are going to claim it when माल आए, right? So that will come in August. So we are going to claim it in August. And second is the invoice of PQR Limited, which has not even come in GSTR-2B. अगर मैंने आपको thumb rule क्या बोला था सर, जो GSTR-2B में नहीं आया है, वो अपने टेबल 4A5 का जून में अपने जुलाई में डाल ही नहीं सकते. We are going to claim it in August because it has come in GSTR-2B of August. So what are we going to do in August? Considering there is no invoices pertaining to August, we have claimed 35,000 here. And sir, one more thing, we are not going to forget this. We are going to make a disclosure of what? Temporarily reversed last month in table 4B2, reclaimed now in this month, which is goods in transit, right? Which is goods in transit, 20,000 rupees. So we are going to disclose it in table 4D1. Let me take you to the main slide here. Table 4D1, please see in blue other details. IDC reclaimed which was reversed under table 4B2 in earlier tax period. दिस इज टेम्परेरी रिवर्सल सर. पिछले महीने में टेम्परेरी रिवर्सल को कहां पर दिखाना है? टेबल 4B2 से रिवर्स करना है. नेक्स्ट मंथ में जब अपने को क्लेम करना है तो कहां पर डिस्क्लोजर पर्पस के लिए दिखाना है? क्लेम तो कर रही है टेबल 4A5 में, बट वी हैव टू, गवर्नमेंट वांट्स एडिशनल डिस्क्लोजर, hungry for disclosure. Well, we have to put in table 4D1 that this has been reversed temporarily last month and it has been claimed in this month. Now last table, if you see table 4D2, sir आप गुजरात गए, आपको टेक्सटाइल मार्केट में कोई काम था and you stayed in Pragati Hotel there. Pragati Hotel, the place of supply of Pragati Hotel service is immovable property, is the place of immovable property. CGST, SGST लगेगा. आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन है यहाँ पर बंगाल में. Will you be able to claim credit of CGST, SGST of Gujarat in Bengal? You will not be able to. So that is POS, place of supply outside West Bengal. First thing, ineligible. ये तो GSTR-2B में ineligible sheet में आ जाता है. Government is still hungry for your disclosure. Wants to see how honest you are. Government wants you to put that in table 4A5. सब चीज 2B में जो है टेबल 4A5 में डालो और नीचे में आप उसको रिमूव करिए. तो we have to still give a disclosure in table 4D2, right? I hope this GSTR-3B, this particular portion. Sir, any question regarding GSTR-3B? This is a very important particular part, or perhaps we can take up questions a little later or something. GST refund. Now, sir, inverted duty structure extremely important. There has been a change in the formula of inverted duty structure. All of us, we must be aware. Let us go through what is the change and why is there a change. What is the background? For example, sir, tractor. गवर्नमेंट 5% आउटपुट टैक्स लग के रखी है, बट ट्रैक्टर को बनाने के लिए स्टील चाहिए, टायर चाहिए, वो 18% है, 28%. So I am going to pay 18 to 28% on input tax credit procurement, but I am only going to collect 5% output tax credit. I will set off only 5%, remaining 15% मेरा जेब में है. And over years it is just accumulating. This is inversion of input tax credit accumulation. Now government says that yes, sir, you can claim refund of this, but only limited to the input tax credit of the input. मतलब सिर्फ टायर और स्टील के लिए ले सकते हैं, सफाई धुलाई के लिए नहीं ले सकते, सर्विस पे नहीं ले सकते, कैपिटल गुड्स पे नहीं ले सकते. Now the formula, if you would see, now there was a big debate about this, but many high courts they had contrary judgment. बोले कि नहीं सर ये गलत है, this is onerous. अगर आप सब पेमेंट कर रही है तो how can it just be refund of only input? It should be input service also. But Supreme Court in this VKC Footsteps India landmark judgment mentioned that we cannot fidget with the legislation. If in legislation it is mentioned that only input refund is available of input tax rate only input, then सिर्फ टायर का मिलेगा आपको, सर्विस का नहीं मिलेगा आपको, टायर का रिपेयर का नहीं मिलेगा. So, but the Supreme Court observed there is some problem with the formula for calculating the maximum input tax credit which is eligible for refund. Let me go through this example so that you understand. Input tax rate, I hope this you can see the numbers. Okay. Now see in the example, sir, let us see practically, then we will go through to theory. ITC on import is 60 rupees. टायर के ऊपर में input tax credit 60 रुपए है. टायर का सफाई के ऊपर में 40 रुपए है. Input tax ट्रैक्टर बेचने का सिर्फ 500 रुपया का जो भी टर्नओवर है वो ट्रैक्टर बेचने का, और बाकी other non-inverted duty structure items, which is the normal whatever sale वो 1000 है. So total my sale is 1500. Now as per the earlier formula on the left hand side, sir, you will see no refund, -5. How, sir? The formula is saying, sir, 500 rupees divided by 1500 rupees into 60. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? Only the input tax credit on input टायर के ऊपर में proportionate input inverted duty structure का जो सेल हुआ है वो proportionate आपको मिलेगा. There's nothing wrong with that because in the law it is mentioned you can only get refund of the proportionate input tax rate on input, not on input service. But sir, the biggest problem see in the formula -25. अब sir you tell me, जब ट्रैक्टर बेचते हैं तो 25 रुपया मेरे को जो मिला है अपनी सेट ऑफ करते हैं 25 रुपया को इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर में कोई ऑप्शन है इंपोर्ट, इनपुट सर्विस, कैपिटल गुड्स, और वो इनपुट का लेकर के अपने 25 रुपया सेट ऑफ करते हैं. नो, वी डोंट डू दैट. ओपनिंग बैलेंस ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर प्लस credited during the month and we set it off against the output tax liability. मतलब कि for 25 rupees of output tax liability we use input tax credit of input service, capital goods. But in the formula, if you see, we are having calculation of input tax credit eligible for refund अपने 60 रुपया सिर्फ इनपुट का ले रहे हैं, input service का नहीं ले रहे, and we are reducing the entire output tax liability of 25 against the input tax credit of only proportionate input tax rate of only input. So this is wrong ना sir. So government बोलते हैं कि सर ये 60 रुपया बढ़ा करके 100 नहीं कर सकते हैं. Supreme Court has said in BKC bootstrap because this is the law. But what I can do, it has recommended that output tax liability 25 रुपया को भी आप input का जो 60 rupees divided by 100 वो करके आप proportionate कर दो. What does that mean? If you have input tax credit proportionate of inverted duty structure turnover of only input, so you take the output tax liability proportionate to only input. Correct, right, sir? Because I cannot increase 60 to 100, right? So this is the amendment. समझ में आया sir ये point? This is the particular amendment. Now there is another case, sir. Now, for example, if your company provides textiles, COVID textiles, school uniforms, defense items, defense textiles or whatever, you might figure out that there has been some concessional rate on output tax, 5%, 1%, 0.1%. But sir, वो बनाने के लिए we have to spend 12%, 18% on input procurement. So this is also a case of inverted duty structure. Earlier there was a circular which was against us. Circular 135, it is mentioned that अगर आप ट्रैक्टर खरीदते और ट्रैक्टर बेचते हैं और बीच में खरीदने और बेचने के बीच में अगर रेट चेंज कर दिया गवर्नमेंट, तो इट इज नॉट अ केस ऑफ इन्वर्टेड ड्यूटी स्ट्रक्चर. आप भोगिए, हम लोग कुछ नहीं कर सकते. तो हियर फॉर एग्जांपल इन डिफेंस वी बाय डिफेंस यूनिफॉर्म, वी डू अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ व्हाटएवर थिंग एंड देन वी सेल इट टू द डिफेंस and we are going to pay only 5% because it's a concessional thing. We are giving it to defense or research organization. Now whether this particular case is eligible for inverted duty structure refund, whether it is there or not. So it has been clarified that sir, this is for a noble cause. We don't mind that this particular input tax credit जो आप डिफेंस का यूनिफॉर्म के लिए बनाए हैं, you are eligible to claim it as refund under section 54 subsection 3 clause 2, which is inverted duty structure का आपका जो रिफंड है. Are we clear on this point, sir? Sir, extremely important, second most important slide of the presentation, my last point, which is here in this slide, refund of past periods may be claimed as time limits are also extended. Extremely important. I have made a table for your convenience. Let's come to this table, sir. Now, sir, if I say that you go back 2.5 years and you can still claim input tax, you can still apply for refund. You can still apply for refund. You will be like, sir, what are you saying? I don't understand. Because अगर अगस्त 2018 का if we see from 2 years, they allow 2 years ना. Within 2 years you have to apply a refund in RFD 01. I hope everyone's on the same page regarding this. 2 years is calculated from when? If August 2018 का अगर related input tax credit है, तो GSTR-3B date is 20th September. 2 years from 20th September. So 2020 20th September would be the last date for applying of RFD 01 for August 2018. But sir, there is a twist, and it is a very very big twist and very important for all of us. Supreme Court, let's come to the earlier slide, this slide. Supreme Court suo motu took cognizance that sir 3 waves आए हैं. First wave came in March 2020, second in October 2020, third one a little later or whenever, sir, this year, early this year. Now they are saying that sir, I understand there is time limitation period of filing appeal 90 days. There is time limit 2 years for refund. There is time limit to reply to A70 30 days. State government says 15 days. Now all of that during COVID, how is that possible? So me as Supreme Court, I for the general public under income tax, GST, any other law, any time, any period of limitation for any submission, appeal, scrutiny, anything, that will be excluded. Which period will be excluded? From 14th of March to 20th of April. Supreme Court says 2 years will be excluded. So many case laws, High Court case laws and all they came, they relied on Supreme Court judgment. कि सर आप 2018 का भी refund अभी ले सकते. Now this had to not go unnoticed, so the CBIC came out with a notification and said, sir, from 1st March 2020 to 28th February, पूरा exact 2 साल 2022, this will be excluded from filing of refund. Extremely important, golden opportunity for us. This has come in notification. Earlier we used to represent to the department, sir, दे दीजिए, Supreme Court का है, suo motu, High Court का है, इसका है, उसका है. Now it's come in notification. Just need to show कि सर ये देखिए प्लीज करिए. So there are so many clients of ours, wherein the 2018-19 they did not apply. They thought it's time, but now we can apply that. So there is this particular table. Now one more thing here in this slide, it is a danger signal for all of us, sir. As accountants, we need to know this. If I say, sir, does anyone know 17-18 का नोटिस कब तक आ सकता है अपने पास? 17-18 का GST नोटिस मतलब स्क्रूटिनी नोटिस, कुछ भी चीज है, कब तक आ सकता है? I will tell you, sir. Section 73, subsection 9 of CGST Act. Sir, it mentions that as per section 73, subsection 10, 3 years from the due date of the annual return of 17-18, I can issue a particular order. Department says I can issue a particular. Okay. What was the due date? Extended due date of 17-18, 7th of February 2020. 3 years add करिए, 2023, 6th of February तक they can issue an order. Order मतलब they can issue a scrutiny order. After that कर सकती है, not under 73. They'll have to do under 74, which is fraud, misstatement, and they'll have to prove कि fraud की है. You did it with willful connivance. Under section 73, which is majorly the case, now this date of 6th of February 2023 for last date of issuing order for 17-18 has been extended to 30th September. So sir, हम लोग के तो डेंजर है ना, 6 महीना बढ़ गया और 30 सितंबर के बाद में मजा करेंगे, बोलेंगे सर नोटिस आना है नहीं, ऑर्डर होने वाला नहीं है. नाउ देयर इज वन मोर थिंग, अप टिल व्हेन कैन दे इशू अ शो कॉज नोटिस टू इशू एन ऑर्डर? ऐसा नहीं है ना कि 29 सितंबर को दे इशू अ शो कॉज नोटिस, 30th को ऑर्डर निकाल दे. इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल. इट्स चैलेंजेबल अंडर एनी कोर्ट, अंडर एनीथिंग. इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल. 3 months before the issue of order, you have to, that's the last date for issuing a show cause notice in DRC 01, which is 30th of June in this case. तो अभी है अगस्त, सितंबर, अक्टूबर, नवंबर, दिसंबर, 4 महीना, 6 महीना, 10 महीना तक और तलवार घूमते रहेगा for 17-18. Please remember this as accountants, we need to know this. Up to 30th of June, this is an extended date. Otherwise, it would have been 7th of November 2022. It was 6th of February minus 3 months, 7th of November. This has been extended. Similarly, गलती से refund आ गया बोल से, ineligible refund आ गया. So, an order to extract back the refund, that has also been extended by 2 years. So let's not be very happy. The GST department, they have 2 more years to pass an order to get back an ineligible portion of erroneous refund which might have been granted. Okay. This was an important thing which we needed to understand. This table I've already mentioned. Now see, there are 2 ways under which we can go for refund. First thing, sir, is export without payment of tax under LUT and bond, right? Second thing is by payment of, absolutely right, sir. Now whenever I make payment of IGST, sir, which is more convenient to get refund? Which is more convenient? Previous one means what? Without tax or with tax?
Without tax.
Without tax.
No, not without tax. I'll give you the reason.
We are giving it.
LUT, no?
No, LUT, that is fine. I'm talking about export, talking about refund. Which one is more convenient? Not talking about making exports, talking about refund. Reason is, I'll tell you ma'am why. First reason, foremost, under your export with payment of tax, there is no RFD01.
No.
There is no submission of document.
No.
आपको क्या करना है? Shipping bill, invoice, GSTR1, GSTR-3B, everything is matching. Automatic refund in your bank account.
No capital.
Nothing. Absolutely right. Brilliant, sir. Brilliant. Very nice. Second point. Under LUT bond, when we are applying for refund in 54 subsection 3 clause 1, which is zero rated supply under LUT, as sir said, no input tax credit on capital goods. मतलब कि बड़ा मशीनरी खरीदे, लाखों करोड़ों रुपया डालिए, you will not get refund on that. It will be lying in your electronic credit ledger to be set off against output as very nice, sir. This is the second point. So now in this particular clarification, they have mentioned that sir, automatic refund is very convenient. Sir, घर बैठे आ जाएगा. We don't have to wait for 60 days. Don't have to apply RFD01. Don't have to do anything. Many people started misusing this. There was a group of people, big scam happened and all that. Fraudulent refund started happening. So what did they say? That according to the data analytics, they selected certain portions of notified taxpayers and they said that, sir, no, I will bar you from taking automated refund even if you go for export with payment of tax. You have to go to the port officer, custom officer, give your documents, give your submission, file RFD01. If he is satisfied, then he will issue you. Now he would go from his house to port there, port out there, you know, they're taking endless amount of time, they require clarification, they're delaying the process. So genuine cases of refund for payment of tax comes in 10-15 days max. It has been delayed by 6 months because a port officer, you know, is not available. Now GST department, they thought that चलिए आप risky हो लेकिन हम अत्याचार तो नहीं कर सकते ना आपके ऊपर. You come to your jurisdictional officer. From your house it is 5 kilometers, sir, go there and do the same thing which you used to do with port officer. And this is also applicable for all those refunds which are already pending with the port officer, for past refund applications also. So this is one benefit. So this is one thing we needed to understand. Second thing, sir, for instance, advance authorization holder, EPCG holder, EOU units, these are special taxpayers. What does this mean? This means that when they import some goods, they are not going to pay input tax credit on that, on some export obligation. Now, these people are not allowed to make export with payment of tax. No. They are going to, ma'am, as you said, they are only going to make export by under LUT bond. But I don't know GST that much. Nobody knows that. I did not know this. I applied also RFD 01 and I got approval also in RFD 05. I got the money also in my bank account. 2 years later, audit happened. Department says, what is this? You're not even supposed to apply refund under this particular method. And payment of tax, automatic refund will not come to you. You have to apply under LUT bond. So they are saying, give us back the money in 7 years, along with interest. 18% interest for 2 years, give us. Yeah. And we are not even going to give you, say, double whammy, we are not even going to give you the accumulated input tax credit against which the refund was given. Means cash also I will take, interest also I will take, input tax credit also I will not credit back. What is this? So many high courts, Gujarat High Court, etc., they said, what is this? If you are taking back the erroneous cash refund, you are taking penalty, right? You are taking interest. Why are you not crediting back the input tax credit? You should do that, right? Against that only to we receive refund, right? So department said that, sir, we don't have any facility only. Online portal is not equipped only. There is no regulation only. So the court or this particular notification says that no problem. Let this particular exporter file a refund in PMT 03A and manually within 30 days, sir, you issue the particular input tax credit and recredit it back because you've taken back the erroneous refund in cash. The only conundrum here was they're taking back the erroneous refund with interest, but they're not recrediting the input tax credit against it. So now, as per this notification, they're saying that the input tax credit will be credited back to your account manually in this particular 3A. Now, sir, duty credit scripts. Do we know about duty credit scripts? Of course, MEIS, SEIS, merchandise, export in India, whatever scheme and all that. What is that, sir? Against some export obligation, 6 times duty save, 6 times EPCG, whatever amount we are going to import, we are going to get these duty credit scripts. What are we going to do with these duty credit scripts? We can use it against payment of our custom duty, VCD, SCD, CVD. Now, against these export obligations, right? Now, sir, can anyone tell me whether when we sell this duty credit script, I don't have any more obligation to make payment for custom duty this year. I want to sell it. We can sell it. Now, sir, when we sell it, whether GST is applicable on this or not. Very nice. But Rule 42 is the next step of harassment of the department. But sir, you're very updated, I appreciate that. But the first step is that Rule 42, reversal of input tax credit only comes when the department said that, sir, हम लोग समझते हैं, ये जो आप बेचे हैं, ये exempt है. From 1st of July 2017 to 12th of October 2017, it was taxable. I don't know कैसे क्या taxable किया, but taxable. 13th of October 2017 onwards till now, it is exempt supply. Sir, बल्ले exempt supply है, GST लगेगा नहीं, but डिपार्टमेंट को तो भूखा है ना सर. डिपार्टमेंट को किस चीज के रूल 42 43 मतलब क्या है सर? आपका ड्यूटी क्रेडिट की बिका 2.5 लाख रुपया में 5 करोड़ का टर्नओवर है. 2.5 लाख डिवाइड बाय 5 करोड़ इंटू 2.5 करोड़ का जो इनपुट टैक्स रेट क्लेम की है, प्रोपोर्शनेट आईटीसी रिवर्स करेगा. अरे सर, इंसेंटिव मिला है, ये क्या, ये एग्जेम्प्ट सप्लाई हम लोग को नहीं चाहिए, आप हम लोग को दिए तो हम लोग बेच दिए उसको. They are saying that the input tax credit which you claimed when you were exporting products is the same input tax credit which was utilized to get this particular MEIS SEIS. What rubbish, sir. MEIS SEIS, so I do online application, I get. No one does business to get MEIS SEIS. That is a byproduct, na, an advantage. How can you say there is some input tax credit against this particular MEIS, SEIS or sale of it? So, as per clause D, explanation 1 of rule 43, sir, it has been mentioned now, clarified that the value of exempted supply will not include this sale value. तो प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं हो गया, तो हट ही गया. अरे अब exempted जो supply है उसमें ये पार्टी नहीं है, it has been clarified. तो where is the problem? Where is the issue of reversal? Reversal will not come only.
No, sir, this is retrospective or prospective?
Sir, this is very good question. Extremely important question for us, which I forgot to mention. This is retrospective, sir. From which date, sir?
But
I'll tell you why. Because
the
the
department cannot tell us.
sir, I'll tell you something. This is a clarification. This is not an amendment. There is a difference, sir. As per legal difference, clarification means you are clarifying your stance today from when the law came in. Amendment means it adds a particular clause that amendment prospectively or amendment retrospectively. But a clarification is.
Just now, before 10 days, I am getting notice.
Sir, you are getting a notice for it. You should definitely quote this particular circular and mention, since it is of clarification nature, clarificatory nature, there are n number of Supreme Court, High Court case laws where it is mentioned that if it is a
Override the rules.
no, secondly it cannot override the rules, because your first and primary thing is that this particular thing, sir. What was I saying? What was I saying last, sir, about this?
They have added the explanation.
Yeah, clarification. Sorry, clarification, sir. Always remember, clarification will always go back to the date of the original or delegated legislation. Original legislation means in the act. Delegated legislation means notification. This notification 122 2000 something came from effect from 13th of October 2017. From 13th of October 2017 till date, if we have sold any duty credit slips, we can either recredit the amount or we can apply for a refund. This is my stance, sir. And there are n number of case laws to justify clarification. This is not an amendment, sir. Clarification. Second thing, extremely hazardous for us. Sir, tell me one thing. Whenever we've applied for refund in RFD 01, hasn't your central excise officer, proper officer, mentioned that, sir, आपका जो स्टेटमेंट 3 है ना सर, उसमें जो आपका नेट इनपुट टैक्स जो आप रिफंड लेंगे वो आपका GSTR-3B for the specified period total amount into value of export divided by adjusted total turnover, right, sir? Am I correct? Now if I tell you that, sir, your invoice value is 100 rupees on CI basis, you have exported, right? 100 rupees, 20 rupees cost insurance, 80 rupees माल का दाम. Invoice value as per section 15, transaction value, invoice value, taxable value, not taxable in this case, but is 100 rupees. Sir, the officer says no, sir. No. As per a new clarification, this notification, 14/2022 master notification, they say, sir, take the FOB value. I don't like it. FOB value is 80. FOB value. You have to put FOB value, sir, 80 rupees. 80 divided by whatever total turnover, so 20 rupees proportionate input tax credit you are losing out. Now this point, sir, you can say rule cannot take over the act. Rule, sir, as you said in the last point, I appreciate that. This is a particular rule which has been put in. Which rule, sir? This is in rule 89 somewhere. Now this particular notification, this rule cannot hamper section 15. The basic section. Section 15, taxable value, what is there in your invoice? That should be the value, right? That should be the export value. But they are taking FOB, lower of FOB and invoice. That much amount of input tax credit, you are going to get less of refund. Sir, again, whether this is prospective or this thing, this is prospective, sir. Correct. This is not retrospective. This particular is prospective because this notification 14, 2022 central tax rate is applicable from 5th of July 2022. Prospectively. So there are certain deem export, whatever these things. Now, what is deem export? There are certain clarifications. For example, for a deem export, EOU, advance authorization, license holder, EPCG, these people, they can also claim refund. Deemed export का मतलब क्या हुआ? माल बाहर नहीं जा रहा इंडिया के, अंदर में ये you have to pay tax also, but you are supplying whatever जो भी सामान है, supplying to these special taxpayers. So the supplier can also claim input tax credit refund, or the recipient can also claim input tax credit refund. It is provided in Rule 96 sub Rule 10, or it is Section 90. I think it is Rule 96 sub Rule 10. There it is mentioned. Now for the EOU, Advance Authorization Holder, exporter, for us to claim refund, what do we have to do? Procedure दिया है बहुत complicated है. You have to first avail all the input tax credit. Then you have to debit all the input tax credit. Then apply for refund. You have to do that so that they can understand that it is a genuine thing. Now, sir, tell me one thing. EOU, export-oriented unit, it constructs a building. It hires motor vehicle for the transportation of its passengers. It has canteen facilities. All these are block credit for a normal exporter. But for EOU, Advance Authorization Holder, they say the law says that this particular input tax credit which procedurally you are crediting, then debiting, then applying for your this refund, all of this is eligible. So just imagine, sir, for a normal exporter who is not an EOU, he cannot claim input tax credit refund on all these block credit. But as an EOU Advance Authorization Holder, these are special taxpayers because this input tax credit is procedurally mentioned to credit and then debit, then to whatever claim refund. So this input tax credit is not covered under Chapter 5 of GST. So this is an advantage. So pre-packaged label food, any exporter who exports seafood, honey, wheat, rice, etc. One thing we need to understand, we all would be knowing about this amendment for like in India, but from exporter perspective I'm mentioning. Now, for example, if Legal Metrology Act has a legal requirement of labeling and of what? Labeling and packaging, pre-packaging. If Legal Metrology Act mentions that you have to label and pre-package something, there is a requirement. So GST department अब बोलता है आपको फर्क नहीं पड़ता सर आपका ब्रांडेड है क्या अनब्रांडेड है, आप बिना ऐसे मतलब कि आप प्री-पैकेज करिए कुछ नाम मत लिखिए उसके ऊपर. But if there is a requirement under Legal Metrology Act to pre-pack and label it, then you have to pay GST even if it is unbranded. Now for those exporters जो branded जिनका था और जो export करते थे तो GST domestic में पेमेंट करते थे और वहां पर इनपुट रिफंड ले सकते थे आफ्टर पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स, तो उसमें आपका कैपिटल गुड्स का इनपुट बच जाता है ना सर, जल्दी मिल जाता है. अब सर फॉर द एक्सेप्शंस, इफ यू वुड सी देयर आर सर्टेन एक्सेप्शंस वेयर जीएसटी इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल बिकॉज लीगल मेट्रोलॉजी एक्ट डज नॉट मैंडेट टू लेबल एंड पैकेज दीस प्रोडक्ट्स. व्हाट आर दोस? 25 kg बड़ा पैकेज ऑफ सम मटेरियल, 50 kg ऑफ बिग एग्रीकल्चरल प्रोड्यूस, और इफ आई एम सप्लाइंग टू अ हॉस्पिटल विद सर ओन्स directly because he's an institutional buyer, anything, small quantity, big quantity, anything, then I do not have to label or pre-package it, no GST. If an exporter has a domestic supply of this, it is exempted supply. If selling 30 kgs of material, it does not need to package. Food product I'm talking about. So now when he will export that, whether he will be able to do that with payment of tax, are exempt hai? How can he do that with payment of tax? So he will have to go through under LUT bond. Under LUT bond means 60 days. Delay encashment of refund. Capital goods में input tax credit नहीं मिलेगा refund का. This is a challenge. Logistics very important, sir, to understand. Everyday exporters, we have to have GTA, transporter, etc. There's an interplay between exporter and these people. First thing is from 18th of July 2022, prospectively, now Goods Transport Agency, they have two options. आप RCM में status को follow करिए. Under RCM, you allow the service recipient to pay 5% tax on your behalf, and the other person claims input. GTA cannot claim input. Or the second option is FCM. मेरे को RCM का झंझट में नहीं जाना. GTS says that I want to go through FCM, means हम आपको Goods Transport Agency देगा, पैसा लेगा, हम गवर्नमेंट को पेमेंट करेंगे 5% with availment of input tax credit or 12%. Sorry, 5% without availment of input tax credit or 12% with availment of input tax credit. Now the challenge is many GTAs, they were thinking initially कि सर मजा आ गया. क्यों मजा आ गया? हम गुजरात स्टेट में वहां पर हम यूज करेंगे RCM, कलकत्ता में एक कंसाइनमेंट के लिए FCM, आप कस्टमर है आपके लिए FCM with 12%. ऐसे हो सकता है? It is not possible. It is clarified. If you are opting for either, Goods Transport Agency is opting for RCM or FCM applicable for the entire year. 2023-24 means the next year you have to, the GTA has to apply in annexure 5 by the 15th of March 2023. 15 दिन पहले, जैसे LUT करते हैं अपनी last day, वैसे 15 दिन पहले अपने करना. As an exporter, why is it relevant for us, sir? We have to see the invoice. There will be another declaration in annexure 3. What will be the declaration by the GTA? Sir, I have opted for FCM payment of tax for financial year 22-23 under 5% or 12%. In either case, we can claim input, but we have to see that as a disclosure. We need to know this because we need to talk to our GTA guy. अरे भाई हमको 5% में पेमेंट करना है कि आप 5% में 12% में करेंगे? We need to know. We need to know these changes. We need to see the declaration by the GTA and the invoice. There is a chart which I have put for different situations where GTA under 5%, 12% FCM or 5%. Now passenger transport service, sir, for employee transportation. Whether RCM लगेगा कि नहीं लगेगा? अब there is a concept, sir. Let us try to understand the concept. आज मैं गाड़ी भाड़ा लेता हूँ टाइम बेसिस पे. आज 12 बजे से लेके कल 12 बजे तक. एक दिन मेरा पूरा कंट्रोल में. मैं जाऊँगा दक्षिणेश्वर, काली मंदिर भी जाऊँगा, बड़ा बाजार भी जाऊँगा, कहीं और भी जाऊँगा. It's entirely in my control, right? So this is considered to be a renting of motor vehicle, not a passenger service. Passenger transport service नहीं माना जाएगा because the concept is time basis hiring. तो इसमें क्या है, the person who is providing the service, if he is non-corporate, if I am taking the service, I am corporate, RCM लग जाएगा, right? Second concept, I have taken the vehicle on distance basis, मतलब 20 एम्प्लॉई है, विप्रो से घर पहुंचाना है, रात में 8 बजे से लेके 12 बजे तक रोज का टाइम दिया हुआ. That is passenger transportation service because it is on the concept of time, distance basis from point A to point B. Guest pickup, transportation of your employees, pick up and drop, all that is under passenger transportation. Means RCM उसमें नहीं लगेगा. Transportation, certain exemptions have been withdrawn. Very important for us to know. 750 रुपया का पहले अगर एक माल कंसाइनमेंट अपने कोई भी GTA को देते थे, 750 रुपया के नीचे का वैल्यू रहता था, inclusive GST, including GST, it was exempt under notification 12/2017, dated 28 June. और अगर माल भाड़ा में 1500 रुपया से ज्यादा का माल ही नहीं है इंक्लूडिंग जीएसटी, तो सब माल भाड़ा पे सब आदमी लोग का में एग्जेम्प्ट है, वो से सब हटा दिए. 1 रुपया का भी माल आप भेजिए, टेक अ जीटीए, टेक बिल्टी कंसाइनमेंट नोट, यू हैव टू पे जीएसटी. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस टू अंडरस्टैंड सर, अदरवाइज बाद में ऑडिट होएगा ये 750 करके 10-20 बिल आता है रोज का महीना का हजारों बिल्स आएगा. यू हैव टू पे टैक्स अलोंग विद इंटरेस्ट. दे माइट पुट पेनल्टी 10% और 25% अकॉर्डिंग. सर दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट अगेन. अब आप बोलते हो सर मेरा कंपनी है, गेस्ट हाउस लेता है. गेस्ट हाउस लेता है ना, डायरेक्टर के लिए गेस्ट हाउस लेगा क्या? डायरेक्टर से हम गेस्ट हाउस लेगा? हम डायरेक्टर से रेंट पे अपना जगह ले रहे हैं. हम जहां पर ले, फॉर एग्जांपल दिस पर्टिकुलर प्लेस आई एम डूइंग बिजनेस हियर एंड आई हैव टेकन दिस ऑन रेंट फ्रॉम कौशिकदा. नाउ this is, for instance, in KMC this has been recorded as residential dwelling. What is residential dwelling? KMC में सर इसको सिर्फ रेसिडेंस के हिसाब से मानिए, म्युनिसिपल टैक्स, प्रॉपर्टी खजाना टैक्स वैसे पेमेंट करते हैं अपने इसको. बट आई एम यूजिंग इट फॉर कमर्शियल पर्पस, डज नॉट मैटर. As per this particular change notification active from 18 July 2022, it is mentioned any residential dwelling taken on rent by a registered taxpayer. Please try to understand. Any residential dwelling taken by a registered taxpayer, it is not mentioned commercial, residential, mixed, shopping complex, does not matter. If I am registered and if I have taken a residential dwelling, sir, I am going to pay RCM. Very, very important, sir. I have to pay RCM. And from when? 18th of July 2022. मतलब कि GSTR-3B जुलाई से अपना एक्टिव हो गया ये. आप ये चीज ध्यान रखिए, छोटे छोटे बिजनेसेस है, फैमिलीज है, एक्सेट्रा. वहां पर मैं मम्मी का नाम पे मेरा ऑफिस का फ्लैट है, आई एम GST रजिस्टर्ड. मैं ऑनेस्ट चीज बता रहा हूँ, मतलब इन माय केस व्हिच इज एप्लीकेबल. तो मम्मी इज अनरजिस्टर्ड और रजिस्टर्ड डज नॉट मैटर. आई एम रजिस्टर्ड विद मैटर्स. और वो रेसिडेंशियल बिल्डिंग में दैट इज अ रेसिडेंशियल ड्वेलिंग बट आई हैव कन्वर्टेड इनटू ऑफिस, आई एम पेइंग RCM. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस टू अंडरस्टैंड. सो दिस पर्टिकुलर एग्जांपल इफ यू वुड सी, जहां रजिस्टर्ड मेंशन्ड है, जहां अंडर टेनेंट रजिस्टर्ड मेंशन्ड है, वहां RCM है. Point number 2, point number 3, point number 6. If you would see, even though the use is residence, commercial, Even though landlord is registered and registered, does not matter. If it is residential dwelling, I am registered, I am going to pay RCM. This covers a lot of things. So this we needed to know this particular thing. There are court judgments. We need to understand these particular court judgments, extremely important for us. First two case laws, extremely important. So please let us understand this. Sir, tran filing. मेरे को भी नहीं आता था. When it came, table 5, table 6, table 7, table 8, मतलब क्या है? What is this? In my client case, he was like, sir, आप भरिए. I want to save money, I fill myself. Which actually happened, and he filled wrong. ER1, excise return 1 का जो balance है, which has to be carried forward and put in table 5. And जो unutilized 50% on capital goods होता है, 50% excise में लेते थे ना पहले, 50% in 1 year, 50% unutilized in next year. So 50% unutilized है, so it will not come in the closing balance of ER1. अरे next year लेना था ना, GST आ गया है. That had to be reported in table 6 of tran 1. पता नहीं था. He put the entire amount of table 5 and 6 in table 5. And the department, when it cross verifies, it sees ER1 balance 13,20,000 और टेबल 5 बैलेंस 14,20,000. तो 1 लाख रुपया तो अनयूटिलाइज था, वो टेबल 6 में डालना था. He's made mistakes. I don't know which table what. I'm not filed tran 1. I'm a hero. I'm not filed tran 1. I don't care. Excise data I did not know. I am a double hero. 27th of December there were whatever rumors going on. 3 बार तो extension हो गया है. एक और बार सर होएगा. Why to file? Wait ना sir. Extension did not happen. 27th of December was the last date of filing tran 1. Extension didn't happen. Errors while filing. तो उसके लिए उन लोग क्या बोले थे कि अप टू 30th of March 2020 अगर आपके पास में डिजिटल एविडेंस है कि आप लॉग इन किए हैं 27 तारीख को रात में 12 बजे के पहले तक स्क्रीनशॉट लिए है, चल रहा नहीं है, सिस्टम एरर आ रहा है एंड यू लॉग्ड इन अ कंप्लेंट, वो सब गुत्था लेकर के मेरे पास आइए, देन आई विल कंसीडर दैट यू आर अ जेन्युइन पर्सन हु हैज अटेम्प्टेड एंड देन आई विल अलाउ यू टू फाइल और रीफाइल योर tran 1. कौन है भैया? कोई करता नहीं है ये सब. ये नॉर्मल पीपल ना. It is not working, it is not working. Now, there 5 years struggle, 5 years struggle. Now, this judgment has come for our favor. 5 years struggle from 2017 till now. Filco trade, next point, this particular thing, great golden opportunity by Supreme Court. Last month only this judgment came. Anyone, sir, you can file, I can file. I have not even filed tran 1 initially. It is open for all registered person to file tran 1, refile tran 1, refile tran 2. Between 1st of September 2022 to 30th of October 2020, 2 महीना का window. Just you need to have your invoices copy, you need to have your payment receipts, you need to have those books of accounts कि आपका इतना माल था as on 30th of June or whatever that is, and you can file. Now for example, see here this particular slide. It's a golden opportunity. All registered persons are allowed to file. No digital or any proof. Don't need to give any proof. And it is online. 90 days के अंदर में the proper officer has to verify your particular revised tran 1, tran 2 or initial tran 1, tran 2 and will give you your tran 1 credit. And if you have any tran 1 cases, tran 2 cases pending with the GST department because of mistakes in filing, they are going to put it on hold if you show this particular Supreme Court judgment. We are only waiting for SOP, Standard Operating Procedures from CBIC, how to proceed. It should have come by today. Today is the 30th of August. Supreme Court says from 1st of September, portal will open. We don't even know SOP. What portal will open? But this is a welcome judgment. 1st September नहीं होगा, 1st October हो जाएगा. It has to happen because Supreme Court has given this direction to CBIC. Extremely important, sir, which all of us we need to understand. This is also extremely important, I would say. Ocean freight. Sir, कितने सारे exporters लोग हैं अपने? We use CIF contracts to export or to import in foreign trade. In this particular case, you see there are 2 ways to get a particular product from outside India. One is under FOB, one is under CIF. मेरा foreign exporter बाहर में under FOB में no dispute, because the reasoning also I will say under FOB, sir, listen here, under FOB 2 cases. मेरा बाहर का जो foreign exporter है उसका liability क्या है? He will just provide the goods on the footstep of the port. उसके बाद में टाटा बाय बाय. Me as an Indian importer, I have to engage a foreign shipping line or an Indian shipping line to get the goods here, file a bill of entry for home consumption and consume it. So under FOB, what do? If I hire an Indian shipping line, I am also in India. He is also in India. I am taking service from him. He is going to pay GST under forward charge mechanism. Government is getting whatever GST rate, 5%, whatever. And there is, if I hire a foreign shipping line under FOB, I am hiring. So I am in India, RCM. Under notification 10/2017, entry number 1. As an importer, I am the recipient of service because of ocean freight, na, because I am hiring a foreign shipping line. उसको हम ocean freight का पैसा दे रहे हैं, तो पैसा जब देंगे, तो I will pay the particular RCM. So there is parity as per the government. पैसा मिल रहा है दोनों केस में, और दोनों केस में भाव सेम है. GST दोनों का लगा है ना, दोनों केस में. So there is level playing field. Now come to CIF, sir. In CIF case, what happens? Foreign exporter has the responsibility to engage the foreign shipping line or Indian shipping line by himself in his individual capacity. I am not going to be engaged. पैसा उसको हम देंगे indirectly, but I am not going to have a direct party to that particular thing. If he has an Indian shipping line, no problem, sir. Indian shipping line registered in India, he is going to pay forward charge mechanism tax. Problem comes, sir, where a CIF contract foreign exporter engages a foreign shipping line. Foreign shipping line outside India. Exporter outside India. Where is GST? Where is GST?
10% of CIF value.
Exactly. 10% of CIF value, 5% rate. So, as per notification 10/2017 IGST entry number 1, it is mentioned that, sir, कुछ नहीं हो importer को पकड़िए. Government बोला कि आप recipient, deemed recipient है. I am deemed this person, I am deemed that person. Deemed मतलब कुछ नहीं है. You are deeming. I have to pay reverse charge mechanism. Now, this was challenged. And what is the main argument which was accepted by the Supreme Court? There were more than 20 arguments made, all were rejected. पहला argument सबसे पहले बोला, sir, which I said, कि I don't even know what is the contract between them. I'm तो here in India. He तो gives me an invoice in CIF, हम पैसा दे देता है. तो Supreme Court says वो सब चीज कुछ मतलब नहीं होता. If you are a third party, you are responsible for payment, you are making payment नहीं. Only one argument succeeded. That was composite supply. Composite supply was, sir, try to understand. Under section 8, अपने composite supply में क्या करते हैं? When we are getting a composite supply, there is the principal supply माल. उसके साथ में auxiliary supply, ocean freight, insurance. So, what is the concept of composite supply? That we are going to consider the composite supply as a supply of principal supply, right? So, वो principal. So that particular goods which we are getting into India, as it is, we are paying, as sir said, 10% of CIF value, but that is under basic customs act and all that. But still, we are paying 5% or whatever amount and all that. We are already paying on getting the goods for good value, ocean freight, everything once. Then again, why am I going to pay again on ocean freight singularly? बात समझिए. Composite supply में principal supply माल plus ocean freight, all has been included. We have already paid while filing bill of entry. Everyone understood this point. Now I am saying composite supply ही GST law में ये बोलता है कि आप एक बार अगर composite supply which is considered as principal supply already payment कर दिए, तो दूसरा दिन आकर के बोलेंगे नहीं, ये composite supply को dissect करिए, मेरे को ये खाना है. Service ocean freight आप साइड करिए, हम वापस से टैक्स मांगेंगे उसे. GST law does not allow that. So composite supply को छेद करके you cannot ask for RCM on ocean freight because that is already a part of composite supply for which you have already paid tax. That was the main argument. So today the current situation is for CIF contracts, when we are importing goods from a foreign shipping line, we are not going to pay RCM as per entry number 10, notification 10/2017 IGST. In FOB में अपने को करना है.
GST Council has not given that notification.
GST Council has not.
It's a Supreme Court judgment.
Supreme Court judgment. Supreme Court judgment has persuasive value. They are supposed to come out with some SOP or something in terms of refund, sir. There are so many clients of ours, tens and twenties of crores amount. You know that amount is left. So this particular.
Exporter has the extra burden of income after 3 years or 4 years. Somebody has asked for the refund.
Sir, I would recommend. There are so many clients of ours.
Equal to the tax amount.
Yeah, interest that is there. But
again the department recalculated.
Interest is the biggest factor. Sir is saying
equivalent to the tax amount.
2 years, 3 years later, it becomes 90% of tax amount. Interest तो आपका चला गया. लेकिन if you have to pay tax under RCN, the benefit is still there to claim the input, sir. You will claim the input. It is not
equal amount of paying that.
No, sir. I understand that, but you do not have to pay that now, sir. You can challenge it with this Supreme Court judgment.
I I am challenging.
You file a writ. One of my clients, sir, I will not name it, he filed a writ along with other companies in Delhi High Court. He is registered in Kolkata. Relying this, he actually got within 1 month, he got an order. And it is mentioned, the order is with me, sir. I will show you after the session the order. In that particular case, his case, the Delhi High Court has taken the stance of reliance of Supreme Court judgment. In case of big amounts, we can do this, sir. Take an order, file a writ, take an order, sir. I'll show you the particular order. I have that in. It's a 3-page order, 2-page order, 1 paragraph done. So much of persuasive value Supreme Court judgment has. I understand you said department has not come and all that. That is very notorious of the department. Sir, this particular case, royalty, mining, lease fees, etc., all these things, whether is it a tax or not, we pay cement factory, mining quarries, we pay mining fees, lease, royalty, whether it is a tax or not. The CBIC, they are harassing, the government they are harassing, they are saying, the government is giving you service, you are paying money by royalty, give tax under RCM. What? So now this is pending under which Supreme Court 9-judge bench. It has not come out. What I will recommend as tax planning, sir, pay the tax 5% or whatever the percent under RCM. Claim the input in your 3B. Do not utilize. As I said, the same point, section 50 subsection 3, sir, unless you utilize it, you do not have to pay interest. आप उसको ले करके 3B में साइड पार्क कर दो और ये रखो ध्यान में कि भैया 20 लाख रुपया मेरा है जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का ऑर्डर आएगा उसके बाद में हम यूटिलाइज करेंगे साइड करके कर दो because might be later on they might say it is barred. You cannot claim it after the 20th of October 2022. So at least claim तो करें अभी. Same way in the next case, sir, also Odisha High Court in Safari Retreat Private Limited, they said a company was making a mall and gave on rent these particular shops and whatever, these areas and all that. They say the department comes under what it says, section 17 subsection 5. You have constructed the entire mall on your own account, even though what you have given it for rent. You pay tax on the rent, and I will not allow you input of crores of sand, steel, cement, anything. Now, Odisha High Court said that if you are paying tax on the rent of income, and this should not be that you are paying such vast amount of input tax credit, and you cannot claim it. So, this particular case also is applicable for factory establishment. Today I am an exporter, I am making a factory of textile. I am constructing that on my own account, or I am engaging a builder. In that particular case also, if I am using it, we can take the the reliance of this particular case law, and again we can claim the input tax credit, but we will not utilize it. Okay, there are 1-2 more small case laws. I will just wrap it up. I know it's already 6 o'clock. I'll just wrap it up in 2-3 minutes, sir. Just bear with me. Or I can finish it right now also, and you can go ahead with question, whichever way you want. Or there are 3-4 case laws. I can finish it in 5 minutes if you want, because they might be relevant in your case. Secondment is there.
Okay.
We can do math. Okay. Now, in the next case, sir, intermediary. Sir, you are a buying agent or a selling agent of some foreign principal. Steamroller agent, sir. Now, biggest problem, intermediary quantum in GST. What is the problem, sir? Intermediary means I am not giving the service of book berthing by myself. I am just a facilitator between the importer and the exporter of the ship, or the shipping line and the importer here. So, as per section 13, subsection 8, what they say, place of 4 conditions are there for any service to qualify as export of service. Our intention for a buying agent is to qualify for export of service so that we don't have to pay tax. So, first condition, the service receiver has to be outside India, service provider inside India, foreign exchange should be received, and place of supply should be outside India. Place of supply for intermediary service as per section 13 subsection 8 of IGST Act is the place where the service provider is located. So, out of 100 rupees of commission, 18 rupees he has to pay out of his pocket, and he will not be reimbursed. 18 rupees out of 100 rupees, whether he will be reimbursed by the foreign principal, no. Since it is foreign exchange, tax bracket will be more than 30% under income tax act. Out of 100 rupees income, 50 rupees he is paying tax. Biggest problem. This case is also pending. Sir, these I will not go through this, but these you can mention if the PPT is shared with you. These are particular cases where you will get notices under 2A 3B mismatch. So these are 7, 8 very important case laws which you can mention in your notice.
I think you will share the PPT with
Yes,
us.
yes,
We will
I'll
forward
share.
it to all of those who have participated.
So you can quote these particular case laws for these kind of mismatches of 2A and 3B, wherein it is mentioned basically that if my supplier has defrauded, not filed GSTR-3B, I have paid taxes, I have genuine tax invoice, please don't come to me. Go to the supplier because he's not paid tax. Put investigation, take his GST license, suspend him, do recovery. Why are you coming to me? If you have done all of that and if you find some fraudulent activity between me and him, then please come to me. Don't come to me otherwise. In all GST notices we are receiving 10 lakh, 15 lakh rupees mismatch between 2A, 3B. Please pay. But why will I pay? I have already paid to the supplier. He's not paid to you. Go to the supplier, sir. So there are very important case laws for the same. If there is any secondment basically of employee from foreign entity to Indian entity here, it will be considered as manpower. Secondment means the foreign technician comes for 6 to 10 months here in India, stays here, payroll might be there but reimbursed from the host country, host company here. Under GST law, it will be considered as manpower, not employment contract, manpower. So the Indian entity will have to pay GST under RCM. Please be very, very careful when you are going to have secondment, deputation contracts or employment contracts. You will have to see this, otherwise there will be this particular thing. There are other cases I can go on and on, but I think we have already, it's 6 o'clock.
I think we are crossed out. And any question?
Any question? Just
same.
two questions. Our company.
Just
did
one moment. I'll take an excuse.
Yes, sure.
We have some religious.
Absolutely. I'm sorry to hold you up.
No, it's all right. You continue with the question.
Absolutely.
Kaushik will wrap it up.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am, for your presence.
You want the mic?
no.
Mic turn, everybody will benefit. That's nice. Kaushik,
Two questions.
Absolutely.
First one is you have just telling me 1st October e-invoice will start. Of what 10 crores? Okay. What date? I have just crossed 10 crores in this year, not before. In this month. Cross 10 crores. What date will start?
And from when we'll start
When?
in
See, ma'am, as per sir has a very good question. Sir is saying that today only I have crossed 10 crores, but I know that 2 months later I have to start invoicing, which is mandatory. So, sir, start now only, na sir?
Why should we wait for
Start. Why October, ma'am? Why to wait for?
Suppose in this month we have crossed it.
Uh-huh.
So, sir, we started from the next
Next
month.
year.
Next month.
No, right away, ma'am. Right away. Start right away. Every next. It is not obligated under law. You will not be penalized 25,000 penalty, or your invoice will not be considered invalid because the statutory mandation comes from 1st of October. But, ma'am, start from now.
Okay.
Reason is why I am saying it. It's a matter of practice. When our client started this, every other day our team will get a call, sir. गलत हो गया, क्या करें? 8 घंटा निकल गया सर, तो rectify नहीं कर सकते. They don't know. We have to give credit note, debit note, all of those hassles are there. Plus, we have to file whenever we file GSTR-1. There is a particular icon where all the means the directory of the entire IRNs which are generated, it automatically comes, and next to that status is there: active, closed, expired. What is all that? Might be that GSTR-1 dashboard might not be able to take all the automation from the e-invoice portal. You have to manually put in. There might be technical issues. So, sir, when you already know you have to start from the 1st of October, kindly iron out all these technical issues and training issues in the month of right now, September and right now.
Okay.
But as per statutory mandation, you will not be penalized until after 1st of October 2022.
Okay. And the second one is, we have
But then, sir, one more thing, as you mentioned, that this year, now, as per invoice rules, e-invoice rules, Rule 48 sub Rule 4, you can also refer to it, mentions from 2017-18 to 21-22. But this year, it does not mention that this year you have to start if you have exceeded. It mentions from 2017-18 to 2021-22, which is the last year. All these years. If you have not, then
below 10.
below 10. So you under statutory whatever this thing you will not have to. But what is the harm? Start it. What is the harm?
And the next question is, our company has maintained 3 types of business. First one is goods sale under GST in all over India. Second was service in all over India, and third one is export goods. We have purchased export goods from our local customer, just Hindalco, IGST and CGST. But I have sell export zero rate. तो उसका जो
input you can utilize those two businesses because if it is in the same GST and you can utilize.
Heavy higher input balance.
Your input
balance
amount has been accumulated. Lots of
amounts are with him.
So can you go for refund?
Ma'am, see, you can go for refund only to the extent of the turnover of export. For instance, sir is saying I have three businesses.
Yeah.
One business is goods, domestic. Second is domestic service. Third is export. Total turnover 30, 30, 40. So out of 100 rupees, I have 1000 rupees input tax credit. Now can I go for even some bit of refund or I need to wait? So what we can do, sir, is total means total turnover. Total adjusted turnover is how much, sir? 100. 30 plus 30 plus this particular thing. Exempt supply will not come in this adjusted turnover as per Rule 89.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, whenever you are going to apply for RFD 01, maximum permissible input tax credit will be the amount. For instance, if you are claiming for 3 months, means January, February, March 2022, 3 months entire GSTR-3B amount which is there, that will be there into 40 rupees export divided by 100 rupees. 40% of that only you can particularly claim if it is eligible. But 60%, sir, you will not be able to claim for that.
Because we maintain other.
If your turnover exceeds, it becomes 200.
No, three months of your GST.
3 months of accumulated input tax credit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ma'am, if you have 10 lakh rupees also in your accumulated input tax credit and if you have only 20,000 rupees just for those 3 months, you are not going to get more than 20,000. You know this, right?
That much of
Statement 3A, it takes auto-populates. I am saying it is a very harsh truth. 20 lakh rupees I have in my electronic credit ledger.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I am applying for refund for January, February, March 2022. 3 months GSTR-3B claimed only 20,000 rupees. So statement 3A, it will take only 20,000 rupees. It will not take 10 lakh 20,000 rupees.
Okay.
It's limited to 3 months.
But you can apply for refund for August 2018 onwards, as I already mentioned. So this 10 lakh rupees will be distributed to many months going back to August 2018. And you cannot apply for RFD 01 of earlier period, means next period, if and only you have not applied for earlier period. You have to select the earlier period in the portal and you have to say no refund and you have to whatever say that, move ahead. Then you will not be able to file refund for earlier period. Then only you can go forward. But sir, as I am telling you, as per this notification 14/2022, time limits have whatever extended and you can claim input refund of accumulated input tax credit going way back August 2018. Extremely important for all of us. So this 10 lakh rupees also you can claim in case if it comes in 3B from then.
Okay.
Okay.
That can be clear.
Sir, any other question? Any question related to 3B? Because 3B is very technical. It took me also a long time. The new 3B, how to disclose, how to do this. Sir, one question I will ask on your behalf. One question, for instance, I have claimed ineligible credit, wrong credit, excess credit in the month of January 2022. And this is to coming, this new GST change is coming in October, for instance. So sir, I understand during annual reconciliation that I have claimed wrong in this year. Let's not take January, let's take this year, April 2022. What will I do? If I want to reverse, what will I do? Up to September I can reverse. After that I have to put it in GSTR 9 and 9C. Up to September I can reverse. So how will I put? Where will I put in 3B? We are going to put this particular thing in reversal में क्या था? 4B1, 4B2. 4B1 क्या था? Permanent. 4B2 क्या था? Temporary. But 4B1 permanent में भी exhaustive था. Rule 38, Rule 42, Rule 43, block credit. So, as per whatever understanding, please put it in reversal in table 4B2. Temporary है लेकिन problem नहीं है, reverse हो गया. For any input tax credit incorrectly claimed in April, May, June before the advent of this new format of GSTR-3B. This is a very important thing. Everyone will require this in the next 1-2 months. अरे रिको करते हैं तो कितना सारा इनपुट निकलता है भैया, ये कहाँ से आया, ये क्लेम हो गया, भूल से हो गया, ये हो गया, अब नया फॉर्मेट आएगा सर, कहाँ दिखाना है, कहाँ रिवर्स करना है, अभी क्वेश्चन नहीं है, 2 महीना बाद का क्वेश्चन है, बट आई हैव जस्ट डिस्कस्ड फॉर एवरीवन्स कन्वीनियंस.
RCM credit for 78 and we paid along with the
सर 17-18 का आरसीएम क्रेडिट है, आप ये बोल रहे हैं, मतलब आरसीएम पेमेंट आज किए हैं 17-18 का, वी कैन क्लेम इनपुट सर. इसमें एक तो है सर,
73 or 74 का
नहीं सर 73 सर. देखिए इसमें 2 चीज है, इट्स अ वेरी टेक्निकल क्वेश्चन. फर्स्ट थिंग इज सर इज आस्किंग आरसीएम का क्रेडिट 17-18 का है. आज हमको इन दी कोर्स ऑफ ऑडिट, आई अंडरस्टैंड सर, इन दी कोर्स ऑफ ऑडिट आज मैंने पेमेंट कर दिया 70-80 हज़ार रुपया, और उसका मेरे को 7 लाख रुपीज, और उसका मेरे को इनपुट मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा. सर देयर आर 2 ways अंडर विच आरसीएम इज कवर्ड. फर्स्ट वे इज रजिस्टर्ड, वी आर टेकिंग सप्लाई फ्रॉम रजिस्टर्ड सप्लायर, गुड्स ट्रांसपोर्ट एजेंसी का बात करते हैं.
that is the
इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विस,
consultancy.
इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विस तो आरसीएम में इट इज, हाँ आई अंडरस्टैंड. इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विस तो सर इट इज कवर्ड अंडर सेक्शन, अंडर नोटिफिकेशन 10/2017. इन माय ओपिनियन सर, इफ यू हैव रेज्ड अ सेल्फ इनवॉइस, if you have raised a self invoice under rule 31 sub rule 3 clause C or clause F, there is something, there is self invoice. सेल्फ इनवॉइस का मतलब क्या हो गया, खुद का कंपनी का सब चीज डालना है, एंड वी आर पेइंग आरसीएम बाय आवरसेल्फ एंड वी हैव टू शो इट इन जीएसटीआर 1 डॉक्यूमेंट्री समरी. डॉक्यूमेंट्री समरी में ऑटोमेटिकली आ जाता है वहां पर, फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग टू दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग, वहां पर अलग से टेबल भी है. इफ यू हैव डिस्क्लोज इट इन जीएसटीआर 1 डॉक्यूमेंट समरी एंड इफ यू हैव द पर्टिकुलर सेल्फ इनवॉइस अंडर रूल 31 जो मैं अभी बोला, then we can claim this because the supplier is unregistered under GST. अगर आप मेरे को बोलते सर कि GTA था, रजिस्टर्ड था, उसमें आज कर सकते क्या नहीं, उसमें डिबेट है सर. इन दिस केस यू कैन डेफिनेटली डू इट बिकॉज दी सामने वाला आदमी इज अनरजिस्टर्ड अंडर जीएसटी. इट इज योर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू रेज अ सेल्फ इनवॉइस and put it in GSTR 1 document summary and retain it and claim it without any time barring. The day you pay RCM, you can claim it after that. This you can take, and there are case laws also for the same.
ये तो मतलब नोटिस जाने के बाद हम लोग पेमेंट,
नोटिस हो नहीं हो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता सर.
तो DRC 03 से अगर
हो जाएगा, क्यों नहीं होएगा. मैं भी कितना बार DRC 03 से की है.
तो उसके इनको कहाँ पर दिखा, कहाँ पर लेंगे?
GSTR 3B, next GSTR 3B
लेंगे वो any other
टेबल 4A3 सर. RCM
RC में कैसे दिखेंगे? RCM में तो जो अपना
सर टेबल 4A1 इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट फ्रॉम इंपोर्ट ऑफ गुड्स, टेबल 4B2
समझ गया. तो
4A2 इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विस, 4A2 में डालेंगे.
इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विस नहीं, हम RCM के बात कर रहे हैं. अगर लीजिए हम RCM जो इस महीने का RCM जो हम आउटपुट में दिखा रहा है वही इनपुट हम यहाँ पर क्लेम कर सकते हैं, इससे ज़्यादा नहीं कर सकते. तो जो हम DRC से किए क्या एनी अदर फाइल्स में पता है?
DRC से हम इनपुट क्लेम कैसे कर सकते हैं, उसमें तो पेमेंट होएगा आरसीएम
पेमेंट हो गया ना,
तो सर वो
पेमेंट करके हम DRC
पेमेंट हो गया. DRC 03 का चैप्टर खत्म हो गया.
DRC 03 से हम ऑफसेट कर दिए.
क्या चीज से ऑफसेट की है,
DRC 03
मतलब क्रेडिट लेजर, यू हैव मेड पेमेंट यूजिंग योर क्रेडिट लेजर बैलेंस, व्हाट
कैश लेजर.
कैश लेजर से. तो आपका तो खत्म हो गया. यू मेड द आरसीएम पेमेंट फॉर इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विस. नाउ यू आर आस्किंग मी वेदर आई कैन क्लेम इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट अगेंस्ट इट और नॉट. दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग सर. इन योर GSTR 3B next month GSTR 3B you can claim sir because there is no time limit for this. And that's what I'm telling you. In case where the particular supplier is unregistered under GST, we have to issue a self invoice.
In GSTR 3B, that will not match with the GSTR.
It will not match. No, not match. They will send you a particular DRC 01A prenup to a show cause notice or some clarification. You are going to justify it, mentioning that this is pertaining to 17-18. I paid RCM right now. My time of yeah, along with interest penalty. That does not matter. But we have paid that. Since we have paid that, the supplier is unregistered under GST. My self invoice copy is this. My document summary in GSTR 1 I put right now in this month since I paid it in DRC 03. I have still generated a self invoice under Rule 31 sub Rule 3 clause F, and I am putting it in my GSTR 1 document summary now, and I am claiming it in GSTR 3. हाँ सर, वो GSTR 1 में कोई टेबल में नहीं आता, डॉक्यूमेंट समरी में आता है. जस्ट द वाउचर नंबर, मतलब जो इनवॉइस नंबर है, दैट हैज टू बी देयर. दैट हैज टू बी देयर सर. सर सेल्फ इनवॉइस क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा, हाथ में सेल्फ इनवॉइस रखना पड़ेगा, चलान रखना पड़ेगा, DRC-03 का कॉपी रखना पड़ेगा। उन लोग का आने तो दीजिए ना सर, उन लोग नहीं आएगा तब तक जस्टिफाई कैसे करेंगे? उन लोग का आने दीजिए कि आपका 2A में टेबल 2 टेबल 5 में आपका RCM दिख रहा नहीं है, आप यहाँ पर ले लिए, दिखेगा कैसे? तो अनरजिस्टर्ड पार्टी है, और अनरजिस्टर्ड पार्टी का RCM अभी पेमेंट की है, और रूल है, आई कैन इवन शो यू इन द लॉ, दिस इज नॉट माई इंटरप्रिटेशन, दिस इज देयर इन द लॉ, दिस इज अ टेक्निकल क्वेश्चन, बट दिस इज सर GSTR-1 में जस्ट फॉर डिस्क्लोजर पर्पस, एंड GSTR-3B में टेबल 4A3 4A2 में उतना अमाउंट आप क्लेम कर लीजिए द मंथ व्हेन यू पे द RCM liability in your DRC-03, the same month you claim it, but provided that it is in the case of import of service, import of goods or unregistered supplier of GTA, lawyers, not in registered suppliers, क्योंकि registered supplier लोग का अपना उन लोग का प्रॉपर इनवॉइस आता है, GSTR-2B में आता है, एंड ऑल दैट वी विल नॉट बी एबल टू क्लेम लेटर, इट विल कम अंडर टाइम बारिंग अंडर सेक्शन 16 सबसेक्शन 4. Sir, any further questions?
मैं बता रही हूँ, suppose 180 days मैंने क्रॉस हो चुका है, and creditor. The next month I have not paid it. Next to next month I have paid the creditor.
मैम 180 डेज आपका क्रॉस हो गया फॉर इंस्टेंस इन अगस्त, और आप लोग रिवर्स किए हैं एज पर रूल 37 दैट प्रोपोर्शनेट इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट इन द मंथ ऑफ सितंबर. 6 मंथ्स आपका हुआ है अगस्त में, आपका 6 मंथ्स अगस्त में हुआ है कि जनवरी में हुआ है, गवर्नमेंट को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. गवर्नमेंट बोलता है जिस दिन से आप इनपुट क्लेम किए सर 6 महीना तो लगना ही लगना है, प्लस उसके बाद में जितना बाद और भी है वो भी लगना है. जब से जनवरी में इनपुट क्लेम किए 3B में 20 फरवरी से लेकर के फ्रॉम टिल द डेट ऑफ पेमेंट और इनपुट रिवर्सल, 6 मंथ्स इज ओनली फॉर डिटर्मिनेशन of reversal. The incidence comes, but the period for computation of interest is from the first day of input claiming. First day of input claiming is what? 20th of February. 20th of February. तो आप ये सोचिए, construction contract, so many deferred payments, years and years they have. say 6 महीना बाद ये पेमेंट करेंगे, 1 साल बाद ये करेंगे. Now ground of defense can be taken, sir. I have a contract. Who are you to say right in the law that you pay payment in 6 months? और यू हैव टू वट एवर 18% इंटरेस्ट, उतना का तो मार्जिन ही नहीं है मेरा काम का. बट दिस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट इज कमिंग इन सो मेनी GST ऑडिट 82 सर, बहुत भर किया है, बट यू एवरीवन इज चैलेंजिंग, नोबडी इज पेइंग ऑल दिस. आई माई सेल्फ आई एम चैलेंजिंग. हु विल पे पर लेजर, एक लेजर में इंटरेस्ट का 2-2 लाख रुपया, 20 लेजर है 40 लाख रुपया, इंटरेस्ट का पेमेंट करेंगे क्या? इतना का तो कमाई नहीं है.
एकदम करेक्ट. थैंक यू.
Continue, please.
So basically is this, I will share with Kaushik sir the PPT and all that. I would advise that you go through the PPT, at least the tables are the ones which I have mentioned, which is section 50 subsection 3, rule 88B, जो manner of wrongful input का जो वो है interest calculation etc. those things देखिए. वो जो आपका ये रिवाइज डेट ऑफ फाइलिंग ऑफ रिफंड वो है, वो सब देखिए. चेंजेस रेसिडेंशियल ड्वेलिंग, वो सब चीज़ चार्ट वार्ट है, जो इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है एक्सपोर्टर्स लोग के लिए एप्लीकेबल है, वो देखिए, वो सब काम आएगा. और सबसे ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट तो 99C एंड 3B का जो फॉर्मेट चेंज है, दोज एग्जाम्पल्स में मोटा मोटी कवर्ड है. कोई भी प्रॉब्लम हो, कुछ भी चीज़ हो, तो यू कैन एनी टाइम ईमेल, कॉल एंड व्हाट्सएप एंड ऑल, दैट्स नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम.
आपका ये चीज़ हम लिंक पे मिल सकते हैं.
कौन सा?
ये प्रेजेंटेशन में मेल कर दूँ.
सर
सोनम जी का I will share all the presentation, ECGC and Mr. Tulsian's presentation along.
सर दीज केस लॉज ऑल्सो ना, थोड़ा केस लॉज था जो कवर नहीं कर पाए बिकॉज पॉजिटिव टाइम ये वो 1 घंटा में बोला 2 घंटा हो ही गया. बट रियली अप्रिशिएट ऑल ऑफ यू एंड कौशिक दा ऑन अ वर्किंग डे taking out time from office you've come here. I hope that at least with practical examples and question answer. At least we have shared and deliberated on important issues, which are impacting us. But it takes a lot of effort to come out of office also. If I were one of you and if I came here, I would want कि भैया 2 घंटा डालिए कुछ सीख करके जाए, right? So it is a very important thing that you guys have all come. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate Kaushik sir's whatever coordination and everything, all of that. केस लॉस थोड़ा सा और देखिए, इसमें छोटा छोटा केस लॉस है, आपके काम आएगा ही आएगा. 2A 3B का तो जो मैं केस लॉस डाला हूँ, that is from my personal submissions. I charge lakhs and lakhs of rupees for those submissions. Made those crux and all that, just put it for you for कि कल ना कल नोटिस आना ही है सर. 17, 18, 18, 19 का तो अपने फाइट कर ही सकते हैं, क्योंकि GSTR 2A was not there. 17, 18, 18, 19 में 19, 20 से अक्टूबर के अराउंड से आया था. तो पहला 2 साल तो मिसमैच बोलेगा, तुम बोले भागो, अब ये सब चीज देखो, हम नहीं पेमेंट करेंगे. तो ये सब चीज है, केस लॉस और है बहुत सारा. तो ठीक है, देख लीजिए.
Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for joining us today for this session. And I would like to, on behalf of EEPC India and my personal behalf, I would like to extend our sincere thanks to Mr. Tulsian.
Thank you, sir.
For
Thank you.
sharing your valuable time. And the presentation was really excellent and totally technical and informative. I will share the presentation with everyone tomorrow. Definitely. If you don't get the presentation tomorrow, just give me a call and message me. I will share. Thank you. Thank you everyone.
Thank you everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you.